Hello everyone, I'm Chris Erkley and welcome to a special edition of the PE Crime Blotter. It has been a hectic 48 hours for police here in the Inland Empire, and to break it down of just what all has happened is the Press Enterprise's Rich Brooks.
Chris, the vast majority of officers go through an entire career without being involved in a shooting. But when they do happen, officer-involved shootings draw a lot of attention, and this week is a prime example. 3 in about 16 hours.
And that first one was Wednesday morning, a bank robbery in Chino.
Yeah, a bank robber with wearing a bulletproof vest used an assault rifle to shoot an officer who spotted the gunman running from the bank to his getaway car. The officer was able to drive himself to the hospital and is recovering.
The officer is recovering in a stable condition, but the suspect's still on the loose.
Yeah, they're still looking for him.
And moving on from there, later that evening at around 6 p.m. in San Bernardino, officers were involved in a shooting and the suspect was fatally wounded.
Yeah, Wednesday night into Thursday, there were 2 unrelated but eerily similar incidents in which officers made car stops and the passenger ran. They had to chase him down. In San Bernardino, a paroled burglar ran away after being asked if he was armed. The officers caught him. There was a struggle, and one of the officers saw a gun. When the suspect grabbed it, the officer shot him, fearing that the suspect was going to open fire on one or both of the officers, according to investigators.
Then a similar situation in Riverside, early Thursday morning around 2 a.m., another officer-involved shooting.
Yeah, about 2:30 in Riverside, another traffic stop, same thing. The passenger runs, an officer corners him in a backyard and shoots him, fatally shoots him after noticing that the suspect is holding a gun, again, according to investigators.
A lot of activity for police officers here around the Inland Empire. Rich Brooks, thanks for joining us. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by the Press Enterprise's John Asbury. He's been doing his research. Is police work getting more dangerous? Don't go anywhere. You're watching the PE Crime Blotter. Welcome back to the PE Crime Blotter. I am now joined by the Press Enterprise's John Asbury. John, as we know, there's been a lot of activity for police here in the Inland Empire over the last 48 hours. Is police work, in fact, getting more dangerous?
Well, according to state figures, officer fatalities are actually down this year by about 27%, though in past years there has been a steady incline in officer deaths. Last year, California saw 10 officers killed in the line of duty. Of course, including in 2009, Riverside police officer Ryan Bonaminio was killed when he was shot chasing a suspect through Fairmount Park.
Also, another incident that we remember not too far away, I believe it was just about a year ago, last March, a Cathedral City police officer was in a pursuit that led into Palm Springs, and that ended up being fatal.
Right, we were out there together when Officer Jermaine Gibson was killed. He was pursuing a stolen vehicle in a high-speed pursuit from Cathedral City to Palm Springs, and on some of those windy desert roads, lost control, dying of a traffic fatality at the scene.
And when people hear about an officer-involved shooting, they probably wonder about the tactics of when to shoot, when not to shoot, what officers are trained to do. Can you kind of inform us about that?
Sure, and the Attorney General's office doesn't actually keep statistics on agency or counties' officer-involved shootings, but Riverside County did lead the area a few years ago when the numbers were compiled. And it's always a debate that's always reviewed by the District Attorney's office. Officers are in a split-second decision that they're trained for, and they're trained to fire if they feel like their life is in danger. Now, a lot of those deaths a lot of the shootings and the deaths have been reduced with less lethal options such as tasers and other devices. And every shooting is reviewed to determine whether the officer was right in firing and if there's criminal culpability involved in that.
All right, John, thanks for joining us. Hopefully the rest of the week remains quiet for officers here in the Inland Empire. That does it for this special edition of the PE Crime Blotter. We'll see you next week.